Hey folks, good evening. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat. Is my audio and my stream clear or not? And I'm starting in 3 minutes. Okay, folks, thank you for letting me know. This will be a very quick session. I think like 10 or 15 minutes. So I'll go over everything or like every trade that I thought when I was live with you, and I will explain what I saw, how I saw it, and why I saw it. Okay, so let's start. You can see that I'm on 4-hour chart on US30, and on 4-hour chart you can see the price basically got rejected from the consequent encroachment of the weekly week. Okay, if I take you onto the weekly chart, you can see that that's a big week right here. And when we see a big week, what do? We measured that week and we expect to see a rejection in price if we have logic behind it. We expect to see a rejection in price from the consequent encroachment of that week, of that big week, because price sees it as a premium and discount PDRS. So the consequent encroachment comes in at premium. So that's from where we expect to see a rejection in price. Okay, so I started my day outlining it to you when I started live streaming today this morning, and after that I outlined to you this fair value gap. Okay, price was here, this bullish candle that you see here, price was here, and then I outlined this fair value gap to you. That's a BC, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and I told you guys that that will be our first target, right? That will be the draw on liquidity. If you guys remember why I told you that that would be our draw on liquidity, when I was mentioning that, okay, this down move that you see here, it didn't happen. So I was basically predicting this move. So I will share the logic behind the prediction and how I saw it. So if you measure the swing high, right, to the low, where does the premium come in? Above here, right? And where is the discount? In this, inside of this fair value gap. So if price wanna provide buy side liquidity, it can at least will deliver liquidity in this fair value gap. It can tap into this fair value gap, like suppose the upper quadrant or the midway, and then it can provide liquidity towards the buy side, right? I wasn't expecting that. I was indicating market towards the sell side, but we also have to think about the probabilities. Okay, we don't know what's gonna happen. We can only predict based on our logic, and that's what I was doing in front of you. So I was telling you that that's our draw on liquidity. Price will at least, or I'm expecting to see price at least delivering liquidity in this fair value gap. Okay, so now you know why I was basically pointing out to this fair value gap, because it's in discount based on the measurement of this price fractal. Now I'll drop down to the 60-minute chart. Right on 60-minute chart, thing will become way more cleaner. Okay, I'm a scalper. You guys know me. I trade on 1-minute chart or 3-minute chart or 5-minute chart, but my whole narrative, my confidence behind every calling comes from the higher time frame. Okay, in higher time frame, a candle takes a lot of time to deliver price, and but on lower time frame, each of these candles can provide a trade opportunity to you, right? So that's basically what I do. And you can see that we also have another fair value gap at discount. Okay, on hourly chart it's visible, but on 4-hour chart it wasn't visible. That's a BC, right? And I outlined it to you when I was streaming, and I told you guys that if price is still providing liquidity after uh, getting below this fair value gap, we can expect to see price coming down here and providing liquidity too. Okay, and before that, from where did I got the confidence to call market towards the sell side? Do you see this breaker block here? Yes, our higher high is here, and then price broke this higher high, right, and generated a new higher high. So these down close candles that you see becomes our breaker block, and price did actually presented to us that it's a correct breaker block. And if I measure this breaker block, okay, from this swing high to this swing low, where do you think the midway will come in? Right here, right? And you can see the price didn't even tap into the midway, didn't even close the candle's body above the midway. So what do we expect? We expect to see price remaining heavy towards the sell side, right? Because it's a bearish breaker block. That's a very basic concept, and a breaker block in chart is easy to spot if you have the logic behind a breaker block, like why a breaker block should provide support for price. Okay, why this breaker block should provide support to price? Because price did hit the consequent encroachment of weekly week, right? Do you guys remember? I showed it to you. And then price delivered buy side liquidity aggressively for like last couple of days. It was delivering buy side liquidity. When price delivered buy side liquidity here, what it did, it basically generated unfilled fair value gap, then a relative equal low. Those are like strong level of liquidity, right? We know that price will only hunt and deliver to two things: liquidity and fair value gap. And you can see that when price was delivering buy side liquidity aggressively, it generated sell side liquidity as equal low as unfilled fair value gap, right? So we can target that. We based on the rejection in price from this breaker block, I did outline to you this fair value gap, right? And I told you that we can expect to see these two fair value gap getting filled today. I wasn't, to be honest, expecting to see this whole big move here, right? Why? Because before the FOMC and NFP days, price usually tend to consolidate or manipulate or chop around, but today was exceptional. Today it was quite beautiful. Okay, like usually we don't see that before the high impact news like NFP or FOMC days. We don't usually see that. If you backtest or if you have been trading, like if you have been around in this industry, you know that. And this whole fractal price delivered, I will talk about it when I drop down to the 50-minute chart. Just so you know that price came down, hit an inversion here. What is an inversion? A failed fair value gap, right? So that's a failed CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. And you can see that if I extend it out on time, you can clearly see that price came down to this level and stopped right here, right? So I will drop down to the 50-minute chart. If you guys have any question, you can ask me there. Once I'm done explaining, I will look at the chat window and I will try to answer it if your question is not getting answered here. On 50-minute chart, you can see that that's our hourly breaker block, right? That's our breaker block, our hourly breaker block, and you can clearly see that price did show to us that it wanna respect this breaker block even on 50-minute chart. And when price did hit this breaker block, it generated another breaker block, right? If I zoom in a little bit for you, you can see that a higher high here, then a new higher high. So what price basically did when it hit the breaker block here once, right? Our time was not aligned though. All of these things I was using it as a confirmation for my 820 to 830 trade, and then like 920 to 930 trade. All of that I was using it as a confirmation. I wasn't watching price when this setup was forming. I watched it at like 8 o'clock when I started my streaming, and before that. So this price fractal, right, we can see a higher high, then a new higher high. So this down close candles becomes our breaker block. And if I extend this breaker block out on time, you can see the price got rejected from this breaker block here once, then here again twice. So what does that mean? Price don't wanna come towards the buy side. Okay, so when you see something like this, like price is rejecting from a breaker block like 2 or 3 times, know that's a strong sign from price that it want to remain heavy towards the direction. Okay, and you can also see that there's a fair value gap inside this breaker block. So when we see a fair value gap inside a breaker block, what does it become? It becomes a unicorn. And you can see the price came up, didn't even close the candle's body, or didn't even hit the, I think it hit the 0.25 level, right? Yeah. Okay, let's measure it, and let's see if it did or not. Yes, it did hit the lower quadrant 0.25. You can see that perfectly. And when price does that, okay, our ideal scenario would be from the 0.5 level, but when price does that and aggressively moves from the lower quadrant level, you can expect to see price remaining heavy towards the direction that it wanna get support. Okay, but always keep in mind that you have to have logic behind what you are looking for. You have to have a higher time from confirmation behind what you are looking for. Okay, so you can see the price did hit it here once. When I saw that on 50-minute chart, I executed at this candle, at this bearish candle that you see. I was watching, okay, if price wanna come up, okay, it will do so at this candle, at the second candle. Usually from my experience, okay, I'm talking I'm sharing the idea from my experience. It's not like ICT approved. Usually at the second candle, you will see the price is either supporting your trade idea or it not. It will hit your stop loss at the second candle. So I was watching this candle, and when this candle's closed like this, I was like, okay, I can take this trade, and I push the button here. If I toggle on my execution, I think if you were on my live trading session live stream today, I think you saw it, right? So you can clearly see that I executed here. Below here my execution was here, and below these two low that you see here on 1 minute or 5 minute chart, these are relatively equal low. I took a partial here below this low, and once price came down and took this equal low here, and then this swing low here, I took another partial here, and ultimately price hit my stop loss here, because that's how I manage my stop loss. Anyway, so let's talk about the 5 minute chart. That's where the real magic happened. I'll hide the execution for now. So when price did hit this breaker block, right, in my stream I told you that I'll measure this fractal of price and I'll project it out on time, and I'll see like how price delivers to it. Okay, so basically what I was doing, I was using standard deviation projection. If you don't know what it is, you can go on my mentor's channel, Inner Circle Trader, and you can watch it there. Okay, so that's basically a complex concept. It's easy to look for, okay, it's easy to find out, but it's very it takes experience to know which swing you should measure. Okay, so what swing I'm measuring here for projecting this this deviation. Okay, I'm using this swing, this fractal of price. Why? Because that's the fractal that took the liquidity from here, that did hit the breaker block. Okay, that's our 50-minute breaker block. I'm on 5-minute chart. Okay, so that's the price fractal that hit this breaker block before this down move happened. Okay, so I wasn't expecting to see price going up here from here. Okay, I was expecting to see price providing liquidity as we had this unfilled fair value gap that you see here. That's our 4-hour fair value gap, this gray shaded box, and then this green shaded box that you see is our 1-hour fair value gap. That's a BC. I talked about it, right? It's on it was on discount, and that's the reason. These two unfilled fair value gap is because like why I was expecting to see price remaining heavy on sell side, and because of that I was measuring this move that hit the breaker block. I hope you understood. If you haven't, it took some experience. Okay, it takes some experience, it takes some time from your part to spend in this chart. I can show you hundreds of examples of this standard deviation projection, but you won't be able to find it on your chart. Okay, it takes experience. You will measure it wrongly, then you will measure it correctly. That's how we learn. Now I will drop down to the 1-minute chart. That's where I was trading basically the whole session on 1-minute chart, and I'll use the replay mode on 1-minute chart. If you guys have any question or like you are confused with what I'm talking, you can ask me on the chat. Once I'm done with the explanation on all that good stuff, I will review your question before I close the stream. So that's the fractal, that's the 5-minute fractal that I was measuring, right? And I was projecting it out on real time, and I told you that we can expect to see price delivering at least at this level, -1 standard deviation. Why here? Why here, right? That's a good question. If you measure this fair value gap, right, I did in front of you when I was live streaming. If you measure this fair value gap, our upper quadrant will come here, exactly at this level, 33,950.67, accurately at this level. Okay, I'll measure it again in front of you. So what do we see here? This upper quadrant level, right exactly came here at like 33,950. So we can expect to see price getting reversed from the upper quadrant and the midway, right? If price wanna remain heavy towards the buy side. A midway is like the ideal scenario, but it can reject from the upper quadrant. So that's the reason I was projecting it to the -1 standard deviation. And the magic happened when we were watching 920 to 930 macro. Okay, when I was watching that, I outlined these two levels to you. These equal high here, and then this relative equal high here. And I was outlining and watching this fair value gap here, right? That's also a BPR. What is a BPR? A BPR is like two fair value gaps which are aligned with each other, right? Which two fair value gaps that are next to each other. And a BPR is a gigantic pool of liquidity. When price comes near to that BPR, you want to see price getting rejected from it. Okay, that's what you expect to see if you have the correct logic. So I was watching it, and price was like inside of our macro zone, 920 to 930. That's when we expect to see a trade setup forming, right? 65% of the time, folks, I'm giving you a 100% guarantee. In our macro zone, 820 to 830, 920 to 930, 65% of the time, a breaker block setup will form. 75, okay, rest of the 15% you will see other setup, like suppose a setup with a fair value gap, a setup with the order block, a setup with a mitigation block. Other kinds of setup will form 15% of the time. 65% of the time you will see a breaker block. Okay, that's a guarantee. You can go ahead, back test, whatever you do, forward test, do it, come back to me, you will find it, it's there. Okay, so that's the fair value gap that I was watching. That's a BPR. So when price was near to it, I told you guys that if price wanna reject and wanna remain heavy towards the sell side, it will do so from here. If it don't do that, we can expect to see a price coming up here, providing liquidity here, and then this level here, liquidity. Why I measured these two level, right? Why not Hydra this here? Why not Hydra this level here? I do see a relative equal high here, right? And I do see a clean relative equal high here. Why not here Hydra? Because that's a strong level of liquidity. That's a strong level of support for price. Price already showed to us that it respects this breaker block. So why should I want to expect to see price coming up here and like breaking this swing high? If it does that, my whole analysis is wrong. Price will provide liquidity towards the buy side, right? It sounds like, okay, it sounds like a hindsight analysis, but I did exactly what I'm talking here live in front of you. If you don't understand that, okay, go ahead. If you are in doubt, go ahead and watch the live stream. The stuff that I'm sharing with you here, I did share it with you the same stuff when I was live streaming. Okay, it's all there. Okay, let's talk about our chart again. So that's the BPR that I was watching, and before that, that's the BC here, right? I was also watching this BC as we had relative equal lows here, right? These are relative equal lows. Let me mark it for you. Relative equal lows here. So when price was when price generated this BC, right? I told you guys that if price wanna remain heavy towards the sell side, it will not get support from this BC, right? And if it does that, if this BC fails to provide support for price towards the buy side, we can use the same BC failed BC as an inversion. And if I move forward, right, what do you see? Price rejected from this BPR, beautiful rejection, that's what we want to see. But at the same time, it was getting support from this BC, right? That's the time when I told you guys, okay, now that price closed a candle's body above this fair value gap, right, above this BPR. A BPR is a gigantic pool of liquidity. When price does goes above a BPR, or suppose a BPR failed to provide support towards the price, the same BPR, okay, the same exact BPR will work as resistance for price towards the opposite direction. Okay, and when price closed the candle's body here, I told you, okay, I want to see this fair value gap now providing support for price towards the buy side, right? The next candle, very next candle, when this candle opened and dropped towards this BPR, right? If you guys remember, I told you guys that I can see a trade idea. I pointed it like this to you, like this. I told you, okay, the stop loss can be below this fair value gap. Why here? Why not here, Hydra? Why not below this candle, right? That's a very nice question. Because that's a fair value gap, and if price wanna come here, because we are trading 930 volatility, 930 Judah swing, I'm basically trading a move in price that will offer a lot of liquidity, a lot of profit, okay? So I have to be nimble with my stop loss, at least with logic. I cannot just put it here and expect to see price providing me a lot of profits. I cannot do that. From my experience, whenever I try to do that, like suppose that's a 3.98 tick stop loss. Is it so? Yeah, I think that's a, yeah, that's a 4-point stop loss, not tick, sorry, 4-point stop loss. So for me, I have to be nimble with price. If price wanna remain heavy towards the buy side, it will come down here. At least that's what I was expecting. That's the reason I put my stop loss here. It will just tap into this fair value gap, okay? I don't know if you guys heard about IOFED. IOFED is institutional order flow entry drill. So IOFED is basically when price taps into a fair value gap and then leaves aggressively, right? So because of that, I wanted to see this fair value gap work as IOFED. That's the reason I put my stop loss below here. When price was here, I told you guys, okay, guys, I see a trade idea. Okay, just an analysis because of the 930 volatility, and I targeted here. And when the candle, the very next candle, the 930 candle opened, you can see that how aggressive it was, right? And how beautifully it delivered price here, right? Analysis based on logic, complete logic. I wasn't doing guesswork. I wasn't getting lucky, okay? I explained to you literally everything before happened. I outlined to you the target, okay? Just the way I talk in front of you. First of all, you have to see if the time is matching or not. Our time was matched, 9:20 to 9:30 macro, right? And then we look for target. Do we have target? Do we have clean targets here? Yes, we do have clean target. Equal high here, then another internal buy side liquidity as a equal high here in premium. And do we have other confirmation from price? Yes, we have other confirmation from price. Price did a stop hunt here, right? Then price got support from this BPR. Then price broke this. Then price got support from this BC. Then price broke this BPR, right? So we literally got like 2-3 confirmation behind us before pushing a button here. Okay, just the way I tell you guys, I do it exactly in front of you when I'm trading live, with confidence, with one direction, with logic. Okay, and you can see the price did deliver to us beautifully here, right? The zone that I predicted that price will deliver, and after that I also predicted the move that will happen next. Yeah, this move that you see, it was also predicted. If you go back and watch my live stream, if you don't trust me, it was all there. I told you guys that if price is not rejecting from this level here, these two level, we can expect to see price remaining heavy and providing buy side liquidity at this swing high, then this swing high. What do you see here? Price rejected from this after taking out equal high from here, after hitting the premium level, right? It didn't even deliver liquidity to this level. To that tick, I was correct today. So after that, when price got rejected, right, like this, we watched the whole move towards the sell side. And this price fractal, I'll take you back onto the 5-minute chart right now. On 5 minutes it will become way more clear, and you can see that how beautifully price filled this fair value gap, right? This fair value gap, no hindsight folks, go back to my live stream and watch it. I outlined to you, I outlined this fair value gap to you there. I even gave you high probability target, okay? The -1 standard deviation that you see, I told you that's our high probability target. Then I gave you another 2 low probability target as the midway of this fair value gap and the lower quadrant. The lower quadrant. Those 2 target were the low probability target. Our high probability target was the upper quadrant, okay? We can expect to see, if price is showing us the support, okay, it wanna remain heavy towards the sell side, we can expect to see at least price offering liquidity to till the upper quadrant. And you can see the price smashed through these levels here. -1 standard deviation got delivered, -2 standard deviation got delivered, and even further that, right, we had this BC right here, right? This level, -4 standard deviation, based on the measurement, the price fractal that hit the breaker block, right? A -4 standard deviation price hit it beautifully. Beautiful delivery here. And when before the 10 o'clock high impact news, okay, our 10 o'clock high impact news was also predicted. I predicted the news release in front of you. So if I take you back on the 1 minute chart, right, what do you see here? That's a fair value gap here, right? That's a big fair value gap. I measured it in front of you, and I told you guys that, okay, I can see price rejecting from the so what was it, the the lower quadrant here. I told you guys that, okay, I can see price rejecting from here. So price didn't even close the candle's body above that. So what do we expect? We expect to see price remaining heavy towards the sell side, right? And just before the 9:30 news, 10 o'clock news, price hit a fair value gap here again, and I pointed to you, okay, now that price hit a fair value gap, I want to see price remain heavy towards the sell side. And I outlined these 2 levels, okay, the -4 standard deviation, -3 standard deviation. These 2 levels, I outlined it to you, and I told you guys that at least price will deliver here, and that's what I was expecting to see, and price did deliver it here. And if I move forward, right, we have a inversion here. What is this inversion? It was our hourly inversion, and it comes at exactly at -12 standard deviation, okay? We don't usually see price delivering from a fractal for this long, but today was exceptional. Today was literally beautiful. If there was like no news impact or no high impact news today or the day after that, I would have traded the whole setup on my live funds. But anyway, that's how we show a market that we are patient. Market cannot make us greedy, okay? It's a trap, folks. Don't think that before the high impact news days it will be beautiful like this. You don't. Usually, from my experience, 90% of the time, 90%, okay, folks, I'm not joking here, 90% of the time before the non-farm payroll FOMC days, price manipulates a lot, okay? I don't have an edge before the news days, okay, but I got lucky today, okay? So -12 standard deviation, and you will see that price came down here beautifully. Beautiful rejection in price from -12 standard deviation, okay? -12 standard deviation comes in at 33,455.67 delivered to the tick, and then just rejected from it, okay? I didn't saw it live, otherwise I would have told you, but it's a hindsight analysis. We can use this hindsight analysis in our future price projections, okay? So from this week, I will keep using standard deviation projection with you all, okay? That's something that you should use if you are trading with ICT concept. That's very important. It helps me to decide where should I take partial, where should I take profit. It gives extra confidence in your trade, in your analysis. If you don't use it, okay, it don't matter. I just shared, like, I've been streaming with you guys for 3 weeks, and you never saw me using a standard deviation projection, but yet I was able to call market precisely. You don't need it, but it works as a extra confirmation in your trade. If you are not lazy, right, I will suggest you to use it. Go back test and see how price respect the standard deviation projection. Okay, so that was the whole session, trade review session. I hope you understood everything what I was talking about. If you haven't, you can ask me question there. I would love to answer. Jesse is asking what's the difference between fair value gap and BC and CB. A BC is a plus fair value gap that provides support for price towards the buy side liquidity. A CB is a negative fair value gap that basically provides support for price towards the sell side. Okay, if you guys enjoyed my review session, can you guys hit the thumbs up button? That will inspire me to do these review sessions for you guys for free. Huni is saying, watch this happen this morning on your stream. It is great to see the review today. Was a great day if you were a bear. Yeah, for every bearish trader there, it was a great day. It was a good analysis day today. What is the broker you use? I use forex.com. How do you identify the bias and which time frame do you use for direction? I just explained everything to you here. If you don't understand, you are a newbie, you should stick with ICT's channel until you understand that. Okay, what's the confirmation of breaker block? Once price closes a candle's body below the breaker block, that's the confirmation. Please, new Bitcoin bite sell. Bitcoin will pump towards the moon again, so don't get excited too early. Okay, Maria is saying, learning to recognize and stack confirmation. I need to get in the habit of doing this analysis more often. Yeah, if you keep doing it, like, if just get out of the zone of being lazy, come in front of the chart. If you keep doing it for like couple of weeks, after that you will enjoy it. You will not get bored doing it. Okay, literally I've been talking the same stuff. I did talk in my stream, right? I did share the analysis in front of you live, then I'm coming here again talking in front of you, right? So I'm not lazy. I love to do this. I'm addicted to this stuff. So if you want to become consistent with profitable learning, if you want to read price action just the way I do, you have to get out of the zone of being lazy. Bro, can you analyze Bitcoin please? Not today, on weekend. Why do you opt to trade DAO rather than ES and NQ? Just a personal preference. Honey, DAO moves quickly, gives nice scalps. Yeah, I'm a scalper, so I find it comfortable to scalp on US30 and US100. Okay, US500 is just a shitty pair to me. Chili Talk is saying, what do you recommend to someone who struggled to identify a bad breaker? Watch my live stream. I do identify breakers in front of you live, just like I'm talking here. In hindsight, I do the same analysis live in front of you. Okay, so folks, last thing here, JC, but Romeo said like BC is not a fair value gap. You are a newbie, you are blocked. Anyway, so folks, that's the stream here today. That's the review session. I will keep doing review session like this with my members in future. Okay, every day I'll keep doing review session like this with the members of my channel. So if you like it, you can join us there, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing a live stream tomorrow, so I hope to see you there. Till then, take care. Bye bye.